Hi everyone. The semester is coming to an end and I want to take a moment to reflect on this class and the growth and my experience from it. I came into speech communication a little bit unsure of what to expect, but I can say I'm leaving with a strong sense of confidence and a deeper understanding of not only myself, but myself especially as a speaker. One of the concepts that really stood out to me came from chapter 1, where the textbook says attitude is more important than aptitude. That really hit me hard because I've always been someone who tries to prepare well, especially for speaking in speeches at any. But I've learned that preparation means nothing if your attitude is negative or closed off, and I've learned that I need to focus on being positive and present throughout my speeches and speaking throughout anything in life. Another one came from chapter 7, where I discovered something that made a big difference, which is vocal characteristics. I realized that I speak very soft, and it's not something I noticed until I watched my speeches back. The textbook emphasizes that a speaker must be heard to be understood, and I'm definitely working on projecting my voice better as a result, because exactly like the textbook says, if you have someone in the back, you have to speak louder so they can hear you. And finally, I really appreciated learning about the 4 methods of delivery. Before this course, I didn't know there was any, especially that there was 4 ways to give a speech. I naturally lean towards the manuscript delivery, which is reading from a script but not straying away from it, just like reading exactly what it says word by word. But I've learned that that can come off less engaging and not natural. And I've definitely focused on being more natural and authentic in my delivery. Throughout this semester, 3 big lessons that have stuck with me is the power of nonverbal communication. Like many people, I used to think it was all about what you say, but now I understand, and I've definitely learned that it's much more than that. It's your posture, your facial expressions, and all of that can speak volumes. And another one is the importance of having a structure throughout speeches, strong introductions, clear transitions, and definitely having a good conclusion can keep the audience engaged, and that can also make your messages a lot more easier to follow. And the last one is I've definitely learned to have more comfort in front of the camera. I've always been more shy about being recorded and being on camera, but over the course of these assignments, I've become more relaxed and definitely more confident in being in front of the camera more. Out of those lessons, I feel like I would definitely use the nonverbal communication, both my own and others, whether I'm in an interview or at work. I feel like everyone can definitely use the nonverbal communication because it's very important, because I am learning to pay more attention to eye contact and tone, because these cues can really build trust and connection, and that's really important, especially if you're in an interview. That can especially make first impressions very good and stronger. If I think back to my first speech, the introductions and expectations speech, I was stiff, I was nervous, and I barely looked at the camera. I didn't realize how important delivery was until I saw myself in video, but by the time I gave more speeches, I was more confident. I used researched data in speeches and related the topic to the audience, and I've even tried adding a personal story to my speeches. I also feel like I improved. I became more aware of my voice volume and my camera presence. And when it comes to all the other speeches we have had, especially the very first speech, the introductions and expectations speech, I was very nervous and I didn't look at the camera much. and I think I very much lacked structure as well. But it opened my eyes to see how much work I definitely had ahead of me, because I think I was very rough from the start. And the intercultural speech, I really enjoyed the topic, Japanese straight fashion, that I chose because I love fashion, and that was generally a very interesting topic. But I wasn't as natural as I should have been or I wanted to be. I also noticed that I wasn't making good eye contact, which I know that is very essential and important when making speeches or talking to anyone in general. The Discovery project, I felt more confident and comfortable on camera, but I needed to speak louder, and I also feel like my professional setup was not, it could have been a lot better, but I still felt proud of how far I came and that I felt more comfortable on camera for that speech. The last speech we had, I felt like everything came together, my confidence and knowledge, and I felt very confident in the topic I chose. I did get a little lost at the end about what I was gonna say, but I was proud of how natural I sounded and how much better my eye contact was. For a classmate, I want to shout out Cassie, whose new Discovery speech I found really interesting, and more importantly, I felt like you were very natural and confident in your speech and topic, which is very good, and especially one of my goals I had with this class. If I had to grade myself, I would give myself a solid B, because I completed every assignment, and even though a couple were submitted close to the deadline, I generally tried to grow, and I applied feedback, participated in class, and engaged with my classmates. I feel like I have improved in my tone and my eye contact, but I also know I can do better, and I have a lot more ways to go. But I feel like this class has definitely opened my eyes to what I need to work on. Even though I feel like I have improved a little, I do have a lot more ways to go. And I'm excited to see how I can take what I've learned in this class into the next chapter of my life. I want to thank you to our professor for the encouragement and all the help that she's given me throughout this course. This class has helped me grow, not just as a speaker, but as a communicator, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So, thank you.